Everybody, Vince August here. It is Wednesday, June 12th, 2024, and I am back in business with a professional streaming company on 3 platforms. Finally got this thing up and running, Facebook, YouTube. I should have comments to be able to look at. Thank you, StreamYard. You're so much more better than that other Be Live company I was using. Back with StreamYard. New camera, mic is working, everything should be good. Leave me comments, let me know how the sound, lighting, and everything is. Not wasting time, getting right into this week's topic. The media mayhem, dishonesty, the media disingenuous approach that I've seen this week after the Hunter Biden verdict came out. The level of, what's the legal term for it? Bullshit that is going on right now in both sides, conservative media and liberal media, is out of control. So what do we get? We got a just complete anticlimactic guilty verdict on Hunter Biden. Everyone saw this coming. This was as clear as day as anything you could ever see. Lied in an application, open and shut case, boom, done, end of story. There was no one surprised by this verdict, even though it happened in his own backyard in Wilmington, Delaware. There was, again, not a shock, not a surprise. Okay, so what do we get from that? We get the reaction. The reaction on the left was absolutely mind-numbing when you think about how the left treats gun control, how they treat fentanyl pouring it over the border when it comes to drugs, and then basically said, you see, our justice system works. I'm going to deal with that in a second. Then you have the right and the conservative media jumping in and saying, you know what? This is a smokescreen. This is a distraction from the real crimes the Bidens are committing. And this is, that's not what we want. We didn't want a Hunter Biden. This is nonsense. It's just the level of sheer bullshit on both sides is ridiculous. Now, let's break this thing down. First of all, lawyer hat with regards to legally. I'm just going to deal with Hunter Biden's case. Is he guilty? Yes. Should this case have even gone as far as it did in terms of where it was in this court to get a guilty verdict? And he's not doing any time, guys. He's not doing any time for this. Trust me, he's not doing any time for this. No, because a good lawyer would have taken this case and said, look, you're talking about somebody who was clearly under the influence of drugs at the time he filled out this application. So you know what? Let's give my client a diversionary drug program to deal with the drug addiction, which is really what led to him filling out this application wrong, deceiving the government with regards to this application. Look, he's never going to have a gun. Let's put him in drug court, put him on some type of pre-trial intervention, pre-trial diversion, whatever they call it in Delaware, put him into a probationary program, let him go through that program. And if you're sitting there going, Vince, what? Why shouldn't he get justice with regards? Trump got found guilty. No. You got to treat these cases individually. One has nothing to do with the other. And the truth of the matter is, an unbelievable small percentage of those cases get tried. Unbelievably small. This is not a case you bring to trial. This is a case that wound up going to trial. Again, why? Because the attorneys worked out a crazy plea offer. The plea offer was so crazy that it offended the court, that this guy Hunter Biden was going to get this unbelievable immunity deal, like lifetime immunity, that it was like, what the hell kind of plea is this? So what happened was his defense attorneys overplayed their hand into this wild plea agreement. Because it got overplayed, then that created this situation of, okay, the plea's withdrawn. But that doesn't mean you still can't put him into a diversionary drug program. Look, the bottom line is this thing should have never gone to trial. It should have never gone this far. This is not the type of case you look to put someone in jail on. I don't care if his name is Hunter Biden. I don't care if his name is Hunter Smith. I don't care if his name is Hunter Douglas, the window guy. Okay, this is not that case. And this is what makes me absolutely berserk over what the left-sided media and the liberal media has done. It said, look, the justice system works. For everyone saying, oh, look what happened to Trump, that was wrong. What happened to Biden? This is the biggest case of two wrongs don't make a right. Because the bottom line is this: the Donald Trump case should have never been brought, and this case should have never been brought. Both cases should have never been brought. And that's the problem with what's happening right now. You can't say the justice system works when it clearly didn't work, because you have two cases that should have never been brought to a courthouse were brought to a courthouse. And why were they brought to a courthouse? One, because one attorney general, one district attorney, Alvin Bragg, actually runs on the prospect, I'm going to put Trump in jail. I'll find a crime. Trust me, vote for me. And this is what's going to happen. And the other one happens because the defense attorneys overplay their hand using political connections or whatever to basically say, we're going to give Hunter Biden this unbelievable immunity deal, which blows up. And then the case aren't treated like real cases. Neither one of these cases should have been brought. And that right in and of itself says the justice system is not working. So for everyone screaming, see, equal justice, bullshit. It's equally bad justice. Equally bad justice. And here's another thing. With regards to being able to criticize a judge and not say that the entire justice system is crap, okay? I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an analogy. I can watch professional baseball. I can love professional baseball. And I can say, look, umpires have an unbelievable difficult job to do, okay? Balls flying in, home plate umpires got to see a thing this big come in between 90 and 100 miles an hour, cross a dish that's what, 18 inches wide, however wide a home plate is, have to get an imaginary box because he doesn't have the benefit of the box on the strike zone on TV, and get every pitch right. You know what? Some guys are going to miss calls every now and then. That happens. That's part of the game. But you know what? We hit on most of them, right? Okay. So I trust baseball. I trust umpiring. I trust that that's going to work. That's not to say you can't look at an umpire like Angel Hernandez and say, this guy's just terrible. He's a shit umpire. He's a terrible umpire. He shouldn't be umpiring. And that's why they made him retire. That's why he finally stepped out of baseball, because he was so bad. So I can look and say, look, I like the justice system. I like the way the justice system is built. And I like what our justice system is supposed to do. And when it does it accordingly, it works. But that's not to say that if you screw up a variable and have a bad judge, a bad district attorney, a bad attorney general, that the system isn't going to work right. It's like having a fantastic car. You have a great car. If you put apple juice in the engine instead of gasoline, it's not going to work right. So the justice system was built on the proper principles. But that's not to say it doesn't get screwed up because of the types of cases that are brought, because of the influence, because of judges letting juries do things. And listen, with the Trump thing, I don't think I ever touched on this with the Trump thing. What I tell people with regards to the verdict, how did they find him guilty? Listen, if you didn't sit in on an entire trial, you don't know what happened there. But if I tell you as a jury, okay, look, you're going to look at the 34 counts, and all you have to do is go count by count and make a decision whether or not that thing happened and you think he's guilty. So if count one of the complaint is, do you believe Donald Trump had sex with a porn star? I don't think there's anyone out there that can say no. He's denied it. I think if we all were honest with each other, Trump supporters or not, you'd say, yeah, probably. Is it true that Michael Cohen paid off said porn star with money? Yeah. Okay. So that's two counts. We already found him guilty. Now, the problem with that is, what's the crime it attaches to? Okay. So that was one case. The other case is you filled out this form. You lied on the form. Okay. You got this gun. Okay. Were you under the influence of drugs at the time? Yes. I didn't have the mental capacity to fill it out the right way. Let's put this guy into a drug diversionary program, serve out your time there. Boom. Finish out a probationary term. Done. That's normally what would happen to him. And normally Donald Trump, a federal election case would never be brought into state court. the system did not work. So for everybody on the liberal news saying the system didn't work, the system worked, you're full of shit. The system didn't work. Now, for the people on the conservative side saying, you know what, this is not what we wanted, this is not the justice we wanted, oh, stop it. Stop it. Okay? Because this whole notion that you didn't want Hunter Biden, you've wanted Hunter Biden now for how many years? What you're angry about is the fact that now Trump's victim card is somehow possibly being matched with Hunter Biden's victim card. And here's the other thing that's beautiful about this is the people saying, well, Hunter Biden is not Joe Biden. You can't let Joe Biden pay for the sins of his son, which is interesting because Samuel Alito is not his wife. She puts up flags outside and he's paying for the sins of hers. The hypocrisy in the media this week has been out of control. So you want to attach Hunter to his father or not attach Hunter to his father. And the same thing with Samuel Alito and his wife. Okay. You want to say the system works when both cases shouldn't have been brought, just so you could say, see, Trump is guilty. And then the other side, well, this is a distraction. Distraction, my ass. You guys have wanted this guy for... Now, here's the thing with the Hunter Biden thing that's interesting. I'm going to read the comments as we get going. Here's the thing that's interesting with the Hunter Biden thing. Of all the charges you were going to bring against Hunter Biden, the one you should have brought against him was the one that they let the statute of limitations expire on the tax fraud from like 7 years ago. That was the one you would have done a Martha Stewart to him and put his ass in jail. So now the whole thing is he going to get probation? And does the second charge with the tax fraud, which is another paperwork charge, is that going to violate any probation he might get? And that result in some type of jail time or whatever? Who knows? Who knows? But the sheer disingenuous approach in terms of how the system works. Now, here's the other thing that's completely disingenuous I'm seeing from the left. This victimhood card of him being, this is a person that suffered from a drug issue, man. My God. And there's a Second Amendment right here. Whoa. You guys are now going to bring up the Second Amendment. Now you're going to tell me how this guy should have a right to have a gun. Now you're going to tell me about his constitutional Second Amendment rights. You guys on the left are going to tell me about his Second Amendment. Now you're going to tell me how he should have that right. Look, whenever there's a shooting, you want to ban guns, or you want to have background checks, wait periods, make sure that there's red flag laws. Red flags all over the place here. Background check, should have got him, didn't get him. So here's a case where you get someone who should not have gotten a gun. And let's be honest, he shouldn't have a gun. Okay. But you're saying, you know what? No. Poor, sweet Hunter Biden. Oh, stop it. So you mean to tell me right now you don't have a problem with somebody with a drug history going out and getting a gun? And why is Hunter Biden getting a gun? Is he getting a gun because he's dealing with Burisma? Is he getting a gun because he's afraid when he's flying on Air Force Two? He's getting a gun because he's buying drugs at a 7-Eleven at 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's not bullshit each other. Okay? So let's not make this a Second Amendment case where this is a right to bear arms to protect yourself. He's literally buying a gun because he's going out scoring drugs. This is not he's protecting his own. So stop the Second Amendment bullshit from the left as well. I mean, the hypocrisy of both sides this week is out of control. The media has been out of control with this thing. So just to wrap it really quick, Hunter Biden, this should have never gone to trial. This should have been something that was pled out. The defense overplayed their hand. The prosecutor, Weiss, overplayed the plea form, gave too sweetheart of a deal. When it got booted back, the nerve of them to try this case was ridiculous. It was a bad case. It should have never been brought. This should have been a pretrial diversion program. Justice was not done here the right way. And as a criminal defense attorney, I would have never let that case go to trial. Never. That would have been a plea bargain that didn't give him lifetime immunity. It would have been a plea bargain to actually get him the help, to get him through what he needed to get through. Because let me tell you something. I've had drug offenders. And you know what you do with a drug offender? You put them into drug court. Because you don't want to treat someone with a drug addiction as a criminal, because when you put them in criminal jail, they become a criminal. You put somebody with a drug addiction in drug court, you get them the help that they need. Okay? But this whole notion that he's this, oh my God, there are people out there suffering with drug addiction. If you care so much about drugs, then why you not going crazy about the border and the fentanyl coming over the border? Where's that outrage? Oh, so you pick and choose when you want drugs. Same thing with the conservative media. You pick and choose when the justice system works and when it doesn't work. So it didn't work for Donald Trump. That was a lie. It worked this time, but you know what? It worked on really something that we didn't really want. We didn't get the guy that we wanted for the thing that we really want. Oh, stop it with all this bullshit. Terrible, terrible. Let me catch up on comments really quick. Johnny McCarthy's here because he's a Biden. Too much media too. Yeah, Johnny, it's ridiculous. The whole thing was nonsense with this. Both cases were bad. And you know what? Again, you can knock judges and prosecutors the same way I can knock umpires in a baseball game. Doesn't mean I hate baseball. It doesn't mean I don't think umpires should be replaced. It means that, you know what? That umpire is bad. That umpire over there is bad. They're not all bad, but a bad umpire will ruin a baseball game. A bad judge, a bad prosecutor, especially in federal cases where federal prosecutors never lose, rarely lose. State, it's a little bit better, but the field is still tilted in favor of the prosecutors, especially in that situation. A bad prosecutor can really screw up a case. Bad judge can really screw up a case. So that's my Hunter Biden, Trump, justice system, media mishandling, complete malpractice of the way this thing has been covered, the disingenuous and dishonesty. That's my take on that. For those of you that didn't see, I was on the Will Cain show on Monday. He's had me on now 2 times. And one of the topics that came up is Caitlin Clark not being put on the U.S. women's Olympic team. Okay. 2 things about this. Let's take this from a pure basketball standpoint. Is Caitlin Clark better than the 15 girls, women that were put on this team? Maybe. Are the 15 girls, women that are put on that team better than Caitlin Clark? Yeah, maybe. From pure basketball, is there a good argument to be made that she shouldn't be on that team? Absolutely. Look, when Michael Jordan broke into the league, he wasn't even the #1 draft pick that year, believe it or not. I think Sam Bowie got picked by the Portland Trailblazers before him, okay? You can make the argument Michael Jordan's rookie year, he was not one of the best 15 players in the league. You could easily make that argument. When Michael Jordan broke into the league, you still had a stacked NBA. It's not like now where there's 1 or 2 guys, except for the Boston Celtics, which is a stacked team, 1 or 2 superstars in a team and 3 other guys. No. Back then, they were the good teams, the starting 5 was good, top to bottom. Guard, point guard, shooting forward, small forward, power forward, center. You had 6 men that could start on what would normally be a situation where there would be a starter. That's how good they were. No doubt about it. There was 15 players probably better than Michael Jordan. As I sit here today, right now, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. From a purely basketball perspective, I think this helps Caitlin Clark. I think it helps her become a better player. I think it shows her that, look, you've got to up your game. And as somebody who competed as a powerlifter, I can tell you this. I went out there, won my first powerlifting meet, Northern USA Championships. I was successful out of the gate as a powerlifter. The meet I learned the most in was the one I did not win. That was the meet that motivated me, that pushed me, that let me know you need to work harder. You need to get better. That was the one that had me in the gym with burning desire and hunger to win again. And that was the one that propelled me to win another championship later on that qualified me for nationals. I think this is a great thing that happened to Caitlin Clark for her game, for her as a basketball player. Now, leave that argument aside. Specifically dealing with the issue of marketing, specifically dealing with the issue of finances. Leaving her off the team is asinine. Look, for whatever reason, all eyes are on Caitlin Clark. The viewership in the WNBA is I don't even know how much higher. I think it's like 400% higher audience on television, higher audiences in the stadiums. They went from like an 11,000 seat arena to playing to in a game in a 20,000 seat arena for her to show up. For whatever reason, all eyes are on this young lady. Why would you not want to capitalize on that? Why, as a women's basketball player, do you not want to capitalize on that and say, hey, if she's in town, I'm going to get paid more money, bring her on. Because either way, I'm going to play to win. If playing against her is going to make me more money, is going to grow the league in popularity, and this is the other funny thing about this, and this is going to get me in trouble with some of you out there. All I've ever heard is how women should support other women. Women always support other women. Women always lift other women. If women were in charge, things would run so much smoother. Men ruin things and a patriarchy and this and that. Well, look, you got a WNBA, nothing but women. And the cattiness going on when you literally have a product that will help you benefit. And it's literally, they're calling her that white bitch. I don't ever want to hear again about how women's sports are not making money. I don't want to hear about how women are not getting paid the same, because now that you have an opportunity to have this, you're wasting it. And what's amazing is this exact same thing happened for everyone saying, oh, but the men's, no, this same exact thing happened in the NBA, because the NBA at the end of the 70s was struggling. The thing that propelled the NBA was Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. For whatever reason, you want to call it racism, you want to call it whatever you want to call it whatever negative thing you want. That black versus white, East versus West, Hollywood versus Hick. Hey, listen, you know what everybody in the NBA said? Whatever. Bring it on. And the amazing thing was that Larry Bird, white basketball player, went out there, earned the respect of the league, which is what Caitlin Clark needs to do, to the point where he was just another basketball player. So the men had this thing happen, and Larry Bird proved himself and was accepted. Let's see how the women do. Because all I ever hear about is how women would do it better. Well, now you got your opportunity. Here's your opportunity. Let's see how you do. Those are the two major topics, and I want to thank Will Kane for having me on. Really fun time with him. Both times he's had me on. We talked about a story in the Amazon, and I have the clip up on my Instagram page. Go to Vince August, at Vince August on Instagram to watch that clip. I'm not going to give away the clip here. Let me see if Johnny McCarthy, drug court, worked for Artie Lang. Yeah, I mean, listen, Johnny, you put someone like that in drug court, man. You don't try that case. That case shouldn't be tried. It's ridiculous that it was even a thing that came up. Let's see what's happening. If there's anything on Twitter for me to jump on. The European Championship. I know there's not a lot of people. I'm talking mainly to an American audience that are soccer fans, but this is the Euro Championships are happening. All the European nations that are in the tournament. I'm a huge first generation Italian. I'm a huge Italy fan. I'm going to be watching. They're playing Albania Saturday. You have that going on. You have the NBA Finals. Celtics are up 2-0. Porzingis is out. I still think the Celtics are the better team. I still think their roster is better. NHL Finals, for people that are not into hockey, if you want to watch a team put on a defensive clinic, watch the Florida Panthers. What they're doing to the Edmonton Oilers, who arguably have maybe two of the best hockey players in the league with Deitzel and McDavid. And what they're doing to that team is actually pretty incredible. Panthers are up 2-0. It looks like the Panthers are probably going to win the cup. Good for them. They deserve it. They've been there a couple times in the last couple of years. Edmonton is going to be back. Celtics, again, I think this is their year. Looks great. Let's see. Congressional baseball game. I don't care. U.S. men's national team is playing. I don't know what separation is. Hillary, of course, is always trending. I don't know why Hillary Clinton's trending. Get over it. Katie Tur, I don't know who that is. Who is that? Somebody in the news. I don't watch mainstream media. I don't know who Katie Tur is. Who's Katie Tur? Oh, I guess she's oh, what is she? One of the oh, she's a media person. Oh, good. F her. Don't want to deal with it. Bannon's going to jail, whatever. Who knows what DeSantis did? Probably banned another book or got into another thing. Merrick Garland. Oh, this was another thing. We'll jump on this real quick. Fauci testified before Congress and, basically sat there and said how, none of anything that happened was his fault. The 6 foot thing, it just kind of appeared. I don't know. It was the CDC. I had nothing to do with it. What about the mask? Again, I don't know where that came from. It's a CDC thing. I didn't know. What about the lab leak? I never suppressed anything. I never said that. Listen, you know what? You can try to hide what I saw happen. Luckily, I have a memory. I saw what happened. This guy just will, one thing that Donald Trump did do, and I don't even think it was Donald Trump. I think this actually started in the 90s with two prominent people, and they were men. And this is where men screwed up big time. O.J. Simpson, deny. Bill Clinton, deny. We started to get into a pattern of denial in this country and lying. And even after that, then it became, Bush, weapons of mass destruction, Colin Powell, weapons of mass destruction. There were no weapons of mass destruction. Obama, with his whole thing, and I'm going to make sure that we preserve a woman's right to choose. First thing I'm going to do when I get in. No, he didn't. Bailed on it right away. Marriage is between a man and a woman. Supreme Court comes out. We approve gay marriage. I love gay people. Stop it. No, you didn't. So this thing, and it started before Trump, as you could say, bombing Syria, saying Assad gassed his own people. We need to bomb him. No, he didn't gas his own people. So this constant just plausible deniability, just never admit to anything. Trump, same thing, just deny, has just continued on and permeated. I think Mario Cuomo, well, not Mario, what's his name? The Cuomo, the governor who was in New York, Mario, and Chris Cuomo, the two of them. One just testified before Congress, and the other one testified, did a debate on Patrick Bet-David's YouTube channel, and both were called out for things they said during the pandemic, that there was videotape shown. Chris Cuomo, they actually showed him videotape of him bashing Joe Rogan. And he said, I never said that. I never said that. Then when he said, he goes, I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize. Well, why won't you apologize? Because once you apologize, then you own me. Same thing with the Governor Cuomo. When you look at what these people are doing, Fauci, just deny. Look, we have the tapes. And this is the new thing that we see happening even in our government. I don't know if you know this. Joe Biden gives these speeches and says wrong things. Then they actually take the transcript and fix it to put in the right words, the right percentages and all that. They literally revise the video and the speech that you heard. They correct it and say, this is the historical archive. Well, what about the video? Nah, don't worry about that. This is literally where we are as a country. So I'm telling everybody that's out there, believe what you see, believe what you hear the first time, not what these people tell you that they said and did the second time when they get asked about it. Because our media is so deceptive. Look at what we saw this week, to bring it back to where we started. So deceptive. And the amazing thing is, there's a submarine floating there's a Russian submarine floating right next to the Keys, about 60 miles away, that is armed with supposedly nuclear weapons to the teeth. And we're not talking about that because we're all jerking around with Hunter Biden and some bullshit form. This is what we're doing we are so not serious as a country. Look, wanted to jump on because this stuff was making me crazy, watching people defending Second Amendment rights that are against guns, want to ban guns, more background checks, want to do away with all these places that you could buy guns and everything else, have insurance policies and this and that. But you know what? This guy should have had a gun. I couldn't take it anymore. Then you know what? The right with, oh, this is not the conviction we wanted, nonsense. You know, it's the justice system works. No, it failed on both. It failed on Trump and Biden. I don't know why just no one can step forward. And because, see, here's the other thing. I do this. You know what I'm going to get accused of? Not by my friends and supporters, anyone that sees this. Oh, Vid, you're a rhino. I've told you this once. I'm going to tell you again. I'm not a registered Republican. I'm not a registered Democrat. I'm unaffiliated. Don't call me a rhino because I'm not a rhino. Not Republican in name only. So stick your rhino thing up your ass. When you do honesty, it's called both sidesisms now. This is the new thing. If you're honest, oh, you're just doing both sides. No, this is not both sidesism. This is not me playing both sides of the fence. This is me being honest. And you know what? People hate honesty. So you want honest? You watch stuff on YouTube. You watch people like me. You watch all the other stuff on YouTube. You want to continue watching bullshit? Go watch that mainstream nonsense. Now, one thing I will tell you to watch is me on Gutfeld later this month, where we just have fun, man. We just have a good time. We do some stuff. You can watch me on Will Kane. Again, it's a fun, honest interview. That's where it's fun. The reporting, do some research, people. Do some reading. Look into stuff. Get your news from as many media sources as possible. Not the people telling you what the news said. Just actually giving you the facts and news. Hope you enjoyed this. Let's see. I'm going to check. Johnny McCarthy, you're all over this thing. Thank you for checking in, brother. He's a huge friend, a huge fan. Always have been supportive of me. Thank you, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. There's a new thing. Look how much better this looks. Look how much better this sounds. We got a new camera. We got new everything here. Rolling out. Thank you, StreamYard. So much better than Be Live. You guys are awesome. Thank you.